In this video, we are going to talk about instantaneous rates of change. In these problems that are coming up, we're going to find the average rate of change of the function over a given interval, and then we're also going to find the instantaneous rate of change at the leftmost value of the given interval. So the difference between average rate of change and instantaneous rate of change, the average rate of change is where we take the function evaluated at some point B minus the function evaluated at some point A and then divide by B minus A. That's the average rate of change. Now you might have a function that has different rates of change depending on where you are in the function, and so if we have that being the case, then we can find the instantaneous rate of change calculated at one particular point. Okay, so let's start with this problem. Y equals 2x squared minus 2 over the interval 1 to 3 over 2. So we're going to start by doing the average rate of change, which is going to be f of b, this being that b, minus f of a over b minus a. Alright, so let's evaluate f of b, and we can change this to f of x. F of b is going to be equal to 2 times 3 over 2 squared minus 2, and that equals 2 times 9 over 4 minus 2, and that equals 9 over 2 minus 2, which is 5 over 2. So f of b is going to be 5 over 2. F of a, we just plug in a 1 for x, and then we're going to subtract 2. 1 squared is 1, 2 minus 2 is 0, so f of a is 0. And then we want to divide by b minus a, which would be 3 over 2 minus 1. This becomes 5 over 2 divided by 1 over 2, and the answer is 5. So 5 is our average rate of change over this interval. If we picked a different interval, we might have a different average rate of change over that interval. So now let's find the instantaneous rate of change. Call it IROC, at the point A, which is 1. So instantaneous rate of change has to do with the derivative of the function. So we're going to take the derivative f prime of x, and that's going to be equal to 4x, and then we just substitute in the value of 1. So our instantaneous rate of change is 4, and we said our average rate of change was 5. Notice there's a difference in the average rate of change versus the instantaneous rate of change. Okay, next problem. Same formula for average rate of change is f of b minus f of a over b minus a. So we got to find out f of b. We got to evaluate this function at 1/2. This is the b, this is the a. So that's going to equal negative 1 over x minus 3 and that's negative 1 over, this is negative 5 over 2. The negatives cancel. We end up with 2/5. So f of b is equal to 2/5. Now we find f of a, which is f of 0. And that equals negative 1 over 0 minus 3. And that's 1/3. So we have 2/5 minus 1/3 divided by 1/2 minus 0. And this is 6/15 minus 5/15 over 1/2. And that ends up being 2/15. So that's my average rate of change. Now for the instantaneous rate of change, we take the derivative. Derivative of this function, f prime of x, is going to be equal to, and we're going to rewrite this function as negative x minus 3 to the negative 1 power, because then we can use the power rule for derivatives. Power rule for derivatives says the derivative of f of x is equal to the power times the function raised, we're going to lower the power by 1. So this becomes 1 over x minus 3 squared. And now we substitute f prime evaluated at 0. And that's going to equal 1 over negative 3 squared, which is 1/9. I hope you found these examples helpful. To find out more about my tutoring services, please visit my website at maxmathtutoring.com. You can also get a free download of 5 strategies for overcoming test anxiety. See you in the next video.